It's the North Texas weather discussion video. This is Thursday, the 22nd of January, 2026. I'm Donovan Neal. Much of the region is gearing up for a potentially high-impact winter storm event to take place this weekend. We're within 60 hours of this event, so all the new data is in. We'll be able to talk about specifically who gets what, the timing, and the impacts of this event. So let's take a look at what's happening right now. This is the upper air chart at 500 millibars. You can see that broad troughing still in the northeastern United States, and you can see that low that will be responsible for bringing the dynamic support needed to initiate the precipitation across the region this weekend. That low is emerging off the west coast and will be translating to the east over time. But right now, we're pretty quiet across the state. The radar composite this morning, the closest rain to us is in central Alabama and Georgia, where they actually have a stalled surface front over there, bringing some heavy rain this morning. But down here, we're quiet statewide. Temperatures mostly in the mid-40s across the north central Texas region, and I do expect for us to warm nicely to the mid to upper 50s, maybe even some spots touching the 60s at times later today with some cloud cover in place. Now, here's a watch warning map. We have a stretch of winter storm watches from extreme eastern Arizona up to New York State. So this winter storm is going to affect a lot of people over the United States. But let's focus down here. We have a winter storm watch, of course, for pretty much all of the north central Texas region, including Dallas-Fort Worth. But we have a winter storm warning that has been issued for all of Oklahoma, extreme northwest Arkansas, and parts of northwest Texas. This includes Wichita Falls and points to the west. And I do expect for a winter storm warning for us later today as we approach the 24-hour zone of the onset of this event. Now, here's one advisory that we haven't talked about yet. This is the extreme cold watch that's in effect Saturday evening through Monday morning, and this is to address the possibility for wind chill values to be 5 to 10 degrees below zero, with a hard freeze simultaneously occurring with temperatures overnight lows single digits and teens possible, especially Monday morning. So in addition to the winter storm threat, we also have an extreme cold threat, life-threatening cold, really, for much of the north central Texas region. So, on the convective outlooks, obviously cold stable air mass, no severe storms expected anywhere anytime soon, but tomorrow we could see some thunder before the freezing rain begins. We could see some thunder over west central and central Texas, but again, no organized severe weather is expected. And on day 3, which is Saturday, we could see some thunder central Louisiana, parts of central and southeastern Texas, but no organized severe weather is expected. Now here's the rainfall here's the liquid precipitation for the next 7 days, valid through Thursday morning of next week. And this is a lot of precipitation. Most of this we will see, pretty much all of this we'll see this weekend. 2.5 inches or greater for pretty much all of the north central Texas region, including Dallas-Fort Worth. And the question we've all been asking is how much of this will be rain and how much of this will be in the form of wintry precipitation, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. So let's break it down day by day. This is the model output, the European. This is the 6Z run, valid this afternoon at noon. You can see that trough. You can see that cold core trough rotating near Duluth, Minnesota. That low emerging near Baja, California. Our flow is zonal, and today we're pretty much quiet and dry. Let's check the high resolution HER for much of the day, and you can see much of the day will be dry statewide. We don't have to worry about any precipitation or any wintry weather issues. So let's go to late Friday afternoon. This is late Friday afternoon at 3. You can see the onset of the rain already ongoing for much of the region in north central Texas. And as the Arctic air comes crashing down to the south, we do see a changeover to freezing rain and snow for southwest Oklahoma and western and southwest Oklahoma into parts of northwest Texas. And keep in mind, this is during the day Friday. We'll even check the high resolution the high resolution rapid refresh model, around the same time frame, and it's got heavy rain for much of the metroplex and points to the north, with the changeover from freezing rain and sleet for the Texas Panhandle and north the west corner of the state. So let's go to Saturday morning. This is Saturday morning at around 3 a.m. And it's her suggesting that we start to see that changeover to freezing rain and sleet, ice pellets, Saturday as late as Saturday morning, during the pre-dawn hours. So obviously we'll see this changeover from north to south, with most of the area pretty much involved in freezing rain and sleet by Saturday morning. I mean, this just looks like a complete mess for much of the region, and including the Metroplex as well. Now, keep in mind, if you're in Central Texas, you could just be experiencing a cold rain, throughout the night Friday, but we do start to see that changeover as early as Friday evening and through, really Saturday morning, peaking, I would say peaking through the day on Saturday. So let's go to Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. And you can see this is coming off of the European model, which is known for performing extremely well during these winter weather setups. Now keep in mind, all models are wrong. Some can be useful, but this model has performed extremely well, has been known to perform extremely well during these cold core winter weather setups. And it's suggesting freezing rain for the Metroplex, even points to the north into southern Oklahoma and much of south central Arkansas and northern Louisiana. And this is where we start talking about the possibility of ice accumulation and dangerous travel and potential power outages. But let's get a second opinion. Let's check the other global models. This is the GFS, the American model. And while it hasn't been performing well this season, it's still suggesting some heavy sleet involved for much of the region, including the DFW Metroplex, with the axis of the freezing rain near Hillsborough and points to the south, west, and east. And this is late Saturday afternoon. Now let's go to the Canadian model, and it's got things just slightly north. I'd say about like 30 to 60 miles to the north. We're still involved in sleet and freezing rain, though, with southern extent. So the main idea here is that I think this will be a freezing rain / sleet dominant event. The main precipitation will mostly come in the form of sleet. So this is the accumulated sleet coming off of the Canadian model, and it's suggesting about 2 to 4 to 5 inches of sleet for much of the region, with DFW at 3 inches. And the GFS model is pretty much saying the same thing. Now this is the most concerning part, the flat ice accumulation. This isn't freezing rain, this is flat ice accumulation. And for much of the Metroplex, it's showing about, this is coming off of the NBM National Blend of Models. It essentially takes all the models, their biases, and it puts together one final product. This is essentially an ensemble approach to this. And this is suggesting about 1/4 of an inch to a little under a 1/2 an inch of freezing rain for much of the Metroplex and for really much of North Texas. And I mean, listen, we could get some localized power outages with 1/10 of an inch of ice, but if we get 1/4 of an inch of ice or more, then that's when we start talking about trees becoming weighted and falling down, power lines coming down because they're so weighted, and trees falling on power lines. So in terms of the impact, the most impactful part of this winter storm will most likely be in the form of freezing rain and ice accumulation, as that's where we'll see the most impacts to travel, with the possibility of black ice, especially with the refreezing Saturday or Sunday morning and Monday morning as well, in addition to some potentially significant power outages in some spots. But in terms of the snow impact, here's the map for the snow lovers. This is coming off of the European, again, very reliable model. And it's suggesting that that for the Metroplex, we get anywhere from about a ½ inch to 2 inches or greater with northern extent. Obviously, the closest you are to the Red River, the higher your snow total will be. But the GFS actually has this a little bit down to the south. The GFS actually has this a little bit down to the south, with most of the Metroplex receiving about an inch to around 3 to maybe even 4 inches of snow. And I think it's about right, where I think the Metroplex will get about 1 to 3 inches of snow on the backside of the system as it exits the region Saturday night and Sunday morning, with locally heavy totals, especially along and north of US 380 in Denton, Collin, and Wise counties. Some of those areas could receive around 3 to 6 to 7 inches of total snowfall. Now, if you really want to go to a winter wonderland, go to central Oklahoma. They're more than likely going to see the most snow they've recorded in more than likely a 24-hour period, with many locations recording over a foot of snow or greater. And now, one thing that we haven't really touched on here is the extreme cold that is expected on the latter half of this event. These are the apparent temperatures or wind chill values off of the national blend of models. And you can see by Monday morning at 6 a.m., widespread at least 5 degrees below zero, 10 degrees below zero in many, many areas. So the main impacts from this winter storm, I'll reiterate, the main impacts from this winter storm will mostly come from freezing rain, sleet accumulation, which will lead to downed power lines, hazardous travel, very difficult to near impossible to travel at times, especially Saturday, Sunday, lasting into Monday. And then we also have to talk about the possibility of, like I talked about before, the possibility of extremely cold temperatures Sunday morning and also Monday morning as well. Could lead to hypothermia and frostbite on exposed skin if you're not careful. So today really is the last good day to prepare for this potential high impact winter storm. Just make sure that you go to the grocery store. Everyone's going to has gone to the grocery store, but make sure you go to the grocery store to complete your final preparations. Turn your refrigerator all the way to the coldest setting, as well as your freezer. Make sure you have enough batteries. Make sure your tablets, phones, iPads, and all that stuff is charged. In your car, make sure you have kitty litter or ice melt in case you get stuck. Make sure you have blankets, non-perishable foods, and also if you happen to get stuck in this, be sure to crack your window at least from time to time, because if you're running that heater in your car with all the windows closed, that could lead to carbon monoxide poisoning, and that could be deadly without you even knowing it. So the bottom line is most of this will come in the form of freezing rain and sleet, and today is really the last day for any major preparations for this winter weather event. So I'll most likely be doing another update this evening as we get new data in, but the messaging will likely remain consistent. So here's Tuesday. The snow is well out of here. We are dry on Tuesday, but the problem is we remain below freezing on Monday. We warmed to the low 40s on Tuesday. So we see a little bit of relief in terms of melting, but anything that's still on the ground will just refreeze, especially Monday night into Tuesday. So black ice is also a distinct possibility with this event as well. So here's a week from today, Thursday, the 29th of January. We have that trough in the eastern part of the country, zonal flow here, and down here we remain dry. So this is the end of the forecast period. This is Saturday, the 31st of January. And look at this cold core trough that is in the Mississippi River Valley. And then also pay attention to the low in Mexico. We're going to have to watch how this low evolves with these models over time, because if this low takes a more easterly track rather than a southeasterly track like is shown here, we will have to mention the possibility of another potential winter weather event next weekend. But this is all deterministic model output, and this is 10 days out, and a lot of things will change. But for now, we are just dry and extremely cold. So here are the numbers coming off of the European ensemble. What you're looking for is the green line. That's the mean of the ensemble, and it's suggesting a little over 2 inches of liquid precipitation between now and the 6th of February. Most of this we will see this weekend, but also we have that possibility of some liquid precipitation the 30th and the 31st of this month. So temperatures coming off the NBM National Blend of Models, like I said, for today, will mostly hover around 60 degrees, and then we nosedive in temperatures for this weekend. We will most likely see our daytime high temperatures Saturday morning, and then it's all downhill from there. You can see that low 6 degrees Monday morning, and we pretty much stay below freezing Monday throughout the day, even though the sun is out. So we'll see some minimal freezing, but not enough to make a huge difference. And then with the refreeze Tuesday morning, that's when we'll see that's when we will continue to see impacts with the possibility of black ice on roads, bridges, and overpasses, especially where we see the highest accumulation. So here's the latest long range guidance coming off of the Climate Prediction Center. This is from the 29th of January to the 4th of February. And if this all works out, temperatures will be above average for this time of the year. So that's going to do it for this weather discussion this morning. Just to reiterate, we're gearing up for a high-impact winter storm across all of north central Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and much of the really southern third of the country. But for North Texas specifically, I do think we will see the most impacts in terms of sleet and ice accumulation, especially ice accumulation. I do think scattered power outages are a distinct possibility, with some roads becoming extremely difficult to near impossible to travel on at times. Snowfall accumulations can anywhere from about 1 to 3 inches in the Metroplex, with higher totals around 3 to 6 along and north of US 380, around Denton, McKinney, Crum, Sanger, and points to the north. We also have to worry about the possibility of extremely cold temperatures, with dangerously cold wind chills 5 to 10 degrees below zero. This can be life-threatening if you're caught outside and with your skin exposed. So a lot of things to think about as you finalize your preparations. I'll more than likely have another video and another a written update later this evening. So thank you for watching. Have a great day, and Godspeed.